Hey, coaches. When you have a short period of time between coaching sessions or between a challenging event in your life and a coaching session, it is very important for you to have a way to recover and a way to relax. Inside of a session, you need to be able to recover using your own breathing and letting go of your thoughts that are getting in the way so that you can be more present with a client. But what happens and what should you do? What should you be ready to practice before a coaching session when you're noticing you're not all the way there? For many years, I've been pushing back on the idea that coaches should only show up when they're really feeling like it. They should only do so many sessions because they only feel as if they can make connections, maybe 3 or 4 connections per day. And I know that every coach has a limit. And sometimes when you just had a tragic event in your life, you really should step back for health. But we should also be careful not to allow circumstances to be an excuse for the service that we need to provide to our clients when they've paid us to provide that, to provide our services to them. So there needs to be a balance. And if there's an expectancy for us or expectation for us to show up to a session and be really prepared, we need to do our part to prepare ahead of time with our thinking, our emotions, and our behaviors. And especially those thoughts, they will have a big impact on our presence and the way we show up to a session. So now let's look at 3 ways to prepare ourselves and relax into a coaching session. First off, if you have, let's say 10, 15, 20 minutes before a coaching session, I do recommend, if you're struggling with your thoughts, to take a bit of a walk. And as you take that walk, to focus on your breathing and your thoughts. Focus on breathing in with your mouth, exhaling, deep breathing with the diaphragm, the diaphragmatic breathing that we've talked about so many times in the coaching so far, in the coach training so far. And observe your thinking and remind yourself of who you are going to be as you step into the coaching session. Take some time to empty, take some time to prepare, but make sure you do take time from time to time during a day full of coaching to physically exert yourself and move. And when you're doing that, avoid dwelling on things that are going to bring your focus away from your work as a coach. Don't think about the bills that need to be paid or the most recent news event. Set those types of thoughts aside. Even if you just came out of a session that went really poorly, you might explore and observe some of the things that you did in that session. But as you get closer to the time of the session, the next coaching session, make sure you're setting aside those thoughts and focusing more on your breathing and in your trust of the coaching process. Now, I don't want that to sound like some sort of religious thing, a dogmatic thing, but know that you will have misses, you will have mistakes, but you can trust your ability to follow a process that focuses on coaching another individual in their development around their agenda. And as you empty yourself of the negative thoughts or the thoughts that are really self-critical and condemning you for your mistakes, set those aside and choose to dwell on maybe some success you've had, some things that you say to yourself to remind yourself of why you're in the game of coaching, and so on. So take that time, maybe 10, 15 minutes, to do a brief walk, maybe even a walk around your office. Take some time to be physically active, focus on your breathing, and focus on your thoughts so that you can avoid getting hooked in to negative thinking, which will only impact and carry baggage into the next coaching session. Now, the second thing, if you have about 2 minutes, you might take just a little bit of a moment to stand up and stretch. Continue to focus on your breathing. Set aside thinking. Don't even think about what you could have done differently in that last session. Empty thoughts. If you have critical thoughts go through or thoughts of emergencies that are out in the world, observe those for a moment, let them pass, and just be present with your breathing and remind yourself of who you need to show up as you step on the stage. But sometimes you'll just have 30 seconds. 30 seconds between one session to the next. Your video is getting started. You just need a moment. When you're doing back-to-back sessions, this happens. And even if the last session went well, there's value in grounding yourself just for a bit into this next session. Focus on deep breathing, maybe 3 sets of a breath, letting it go. In the thoughts of the last session, passing through, but choosing more to focus on the excitement you have for this next client that you'll be serving. Focus on the breathing and allow the critical thoughts to pass through. Don't hold on to them, and choose to be present when you turn on that video and join the session. Your presence is valuable. It impacts the belief that the client has in themselves. So show up well and take care of yourself so that you can do that for your client. Thank you so much for coaching.